Hey, what's up? It's bART. In the previous video I showed you my latest camera purchase, and for those of you which have no chance to see it yet, I will put the link up here. Please click and watch it previous this one. And the camera which I bought lately is the second-hand Fujifilm X-T3, and this model actually is in the perfect conditions, and I just love it because it looks amazing and it makes beautiful pictures. In the previous video I mentioned the 3 disadvantages of this camera which might affect on your decision whether buy it or not. It depends on your preferences and what you would like to record and how you would like to record actually with this camera, because those disadvantages were the lack of fully articulating screen, the lack of IBIS, so in-body image stabilization, and the third one was the poor battery life in the Fujifilm cameras, especially in the older ones, like for example X-T3. How to overcome those 3 disadvantages and start recording with pleasure with a camera like Fujifilm X-T3, or maybe you have some other brand camera with the specs similar to Fujifilm X-T3 and you think that you cannot record videos like me, for example, because I have the second body with image stabilization and with fully articulating screen, but I'm also using this one for recording videos. So I would like to encourage you to use your camera properly and to try also overcome these advantages. And in this video I will show you the first solution, and in the next video I will show you the solution for the next 2 disadvantages. So in this camera you have just tilting screen like this. You can put it on the side and you can tilt it up or down. So that's it. You cannot fully articulate it and see yourself while, for example, vlogging or recording yourself. So in this case there are 2 scenarios. When you would like to vlog with this camera, it will be much more difficult because the exposure will be changing, depends on where you will be in particular moment, yes? Because if you will be vlogging outside, the exposure will be changing all the time. It will be much easier when you will be recording yourself using such a camera inside with the artificial lighting conditions. So you will set your main light, your filling light like I have right now, and some background lights to make that depth of field. And if you set your camera on the tripod, you can just manually adjust all your settings, and to be sure that the exposure on your face is correct, you can just try to stand behind the camera, turn it on, put all the lighting as it should be in the main set, and put your hand in front of the camera and try to adjust the exposure on your hand as it will be your face, because the skin tones on your hand are almost similar that your face. So if you will expose properly on your hand and leave the camera like this with those manually set exposure adjustments, it will be almost perfectly set to your record. It is the easiest way because the camera is standing in one place, you have the one set of light and you have manually adjusted all the exposure settings. The ISO, shutter speed and aperture are set to some particular level which is okay for you and for the checked exposure on your hand, and you can leave the camera like this, record some sample video and check whether the set is okay for you, and you can start just recording with this setup. And that is the easy way, but the much more difficult setup will be when you want to, for example, vlog outside with this camera, because you will be holding it in your hand actually, and you will be, for example, walking outside, so you will be in the move all the time and exposure will be changing all the time. So to be sure that your vlog is looking okay, you have to set manually your frame rate and shutter speed as a double your frame rate. So for example, if you are filming like me in 25 frames per second, you have to set your shutter speed in 50 to double the frame rate. And you can set your ISO as a constant value and try to hold your camera in one position and record yourself. But if you would like to move the camera all the time and you are walking from shadow to light, you can set the ISO as automatic, for example. So you should just put the ISO dial to the A as auto, and then the camera itself will be adjusting the ISO level to the exposure all the time. It's not a perfect solution, but it will help you to keep the quality of the video on the quite good level. So this is my advice how to overcome the first obstacle, and if you are interested in the next two obstacles, please subscribe to this channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, and please watch the next one, because in the next one I will show you how actually overcome the lack of IBIS, so in-body image stabilization, and I think that the lack of IBIS is the main disadvantage which might affect on your decision. But there is a very simple solution, and actually there are two solutions which can allow you to overcome this disadvantage. So stay tuned and see you in the next video soon. Bye bye.